Welcome back to Expansion of Consciousness. I'm your host, Jason Medlock, and we're excited to have you back with us yet for another episode. We have a very special guest that will undoubtedly bring more information and more knowledge into things that will help improve your life, things that will actually give you information on how to heal yourself, on how to understand, you know, the way to use these different modalities to just make sure that we have you in the right mindset, we have you feeling the best you can be. And I want to tell you that Expansion of Consciousness has been nominated. And actually, no, we won the category for Podcast of the Year. We'll be awarded on April the 28th, 2023. And it's going to be in Houston, Texas. So I'll be getting more information out there to you. But all the work we've done the last 3 seasons, somebody has noticed what we've been doing, and it's very wonderful and honored. But we're honored for it as well. So, without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and talk about our next guest, Mrs. Falyn Morningstar. Just a little bit about Mrs. Morningstar. Better yet, Falyn. Through personal strife and no healing support from Falyn's Western thinking practitioners to resolve digestive discomfort, insomnia, fatigue, hair loss, muscle soreness, and an irregular cycle and emotional eating, the universe guided her to integrative and Eastern modalities. The information from functional diagnostic nutrition was so transformative that she became a certified practitioner through diving even deeper into missing pieces in Falyn's health, such as sexual trauma, eating emotions, emotional shutdown, iron dysregulation, and thyroid issues, which I know all too well about thyroid issues. She's known how frustrating and lonely it can be to consistently feel like there's something missing. Falyn now guides curious and driven, health minded women from feeling fatigued, distasteful about themselves, and disconnecting from their powerful to feeling vital, pleasure and emotional reconnection from within. And we talk a lot about reconnecting from within, using your emotions to feel your way through situations. This guidance is done in a holistic and alternative way, functional lab testing and powerful resources so women can find the missing pieces in their story and unveil their luminous radiance to themselves and the world. Fallon's curiosity to optimize life continues to expand as she lives by the motto, heal together, rise together. We're going to go ahead and bring Miss Falyn Morningstar on. How you doing, Falyn?
Hi, Jason. Thank you so much for having me here.
I know.
And by the way,
Uh-huh.
congratulations on the podcast. How
We,
beautiful is that?
very beautiful, and it was unexpected. And we're just happy to be nominated. It's by a media group here in Houston, Texas, and they decided that we were the podcast of the year. So I'm happy about that, and thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have a pretty interesting background, and your whole like you said, your motto is to heal together and rise together. And the modalities that you have been trained in is about healing. It's about being helping use these powerful resources so women can find the missing pieces in their story. Can you tell us how you started on this type of journey that led you to where you are right now?
Absolutely, would love to. So when I was 26, I was dealing with some of the symptoms that were mentioned in the introduction, extreme fatigue. I would probably label it as chronic fatigue. I was training very frequently, probably 6 days a week, and I could not recover. 4 days would go by and I would still have muscle soreness. And I would feel bloated, more hair loss than usual. And so all of these like physical symptoms were coming up, plus the emotional eating. And I gravitated towards the peanut butter, the sweets, that sort of thing. And it was something that I could no longer ignore. And so at that point, I had zero knowledge about functional health, even I did not know the term. So I went to my family physician and I went to my gynecologist, and I didn't really find answers. Thankfully, I had a mutual friend that introduced me to functional health. I got some lab testing done, was blown away by some healing opportunities that I saw, and blown away by the information that was given to me. I was like, "I need to get this certification."
Right.
So, it has just been a beautiful journey since then of running more labs, feeling validated for my concerns, because my physician as well as gynecologist didn't make me feel supported at all
Mm,
because I looked normal. My basic blood panel looked normal.
right. Wow. So, obviously now you're a practitioner now. What do you do as a practitioner?
So I do support women, those that are curious, those that are driven, already health-minded women, and we go through a basically a 12 session program. It's just myself and the client, and we're running 5 foundational labs up front to get to know what's going on inside. Why are these symptoms coming up? And we go over extensive health history with her, and from that, we develop a healing protocol, and we develop what's called the DRESS protocol in FDN. That's what we call it. And FDN is short for Functional Diagnostic Nutrition. We call it the DRESS, and it's basically like a holistic way of living. So we're talking about the diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, and supplementation.
So, when you talk about this holistic well living, are there any other health issues that maybe you've dealt with that have come up that you've healed?
Yeah, I love that question too. I always relate to the layers of an onion. Once you heal the initial layers, it's like, okay, here's some more stuff that we need to work on and look at. So, after the initial symptoms, and the symptoms are like the last thing to always come up. That's not what's going on. It's much deeper than that. So, it's beautiful to have new things come up because it's like, okay, new stuff I got to work on. But I would say more as I've been meditating and developing more of a healthier routine and more grounded regimen, the things that have come up is that trauma. And sometimes when we talk about trauma, we go to a biking accident, a car accident, surgery, but it can be so unconscious to how mom held you as a baby, the eye contact she gave you. Anything like that can be developed as a trauma. Maybe she didn't give you the love that you were looking for. And it's not like we have to figure out what happened to me, but noticing how your nervous system responds to things. There might be some images that come up from childhood that could be discomforting, and that's kind of what happened to me. Some as I was meditating and new doors, opening because I feel like I felt safety in my system, so something new could come up and I could be able to handle it. So I would say just trauma and emotional nervous system dysregulation, as well as, um, some thyroid things and some
Yes.
iron dysregulation. Iron dysregulation, we could probably go on for the rest of this podcast recording, but
Thyroid issues. I've found, I'm a QHHT, quantum healing hypnosis practitioner. I've found that when I have clients with thyroid issues, they don't feel that they have a voice. They don't feel like whatever they have to say matters.
isn't that so interesting?
Yes.
Because for a very long time, it is like I didn't have that expression. I couldn't express myself. I didn't feel safe enough to do so. And one thing that actually happened in a previous job, my throat tensed up so much. It wasn't sore, and it was just very constricted, and I'm like, "Oh my goodness," and this was just, fairly recently, and it was wonderful because I had the awareness around, "Wow, this has correlated so much," and in the meantime, I actually did a hair tissue and mineral analysis. Huge thyroid markers came up.
Wow. And the reason why I know that is because I'm currently getting certified in something called Soul Speak. Soul Speak. And it's a spinoff from the QHHT Dolores Cannon technique. It's a spinoff from her class that her daughter is giving. And what they've done is they've mapped out all the responses, Fallon, that they've gotten once we've moved people in a state of trance. It's a hypnosis technique. And once we move them in a state of trance and we pull the higher self out and started to ask the questions that the client wanted to know or bring forth the healing, they've asked all these different questions on, well, why is the client suffering from thyroid? Because she doesn't have a voice. And this is the higher self speaking. And they have documented and logged all the responses from the illnesses. And they're all messages to
Mm,
us to get us to recognize things about ourselves.
yeah, that's so beautiful. Have you noticed there to be a trend of women with thyroid issues compared to men?
I have not. I've only had maybe two women that came with a thyroid that even thought enough of hypnosis to know that it could help. It could help. This type of hypnosis can help heal anything, but I hadn't seen a trend, and I wouldn't doubt if the trend was out there because there's a lot of narcissistic men, women too, but it's more men who suppress the voice of the female energy. And what we need more, quite frankly, is more female energy in our society. We need more female energy that is in control, and it's just interesting. But you are you are practicing functional diagnostic nutrition. Now, if you were giving a presentation to a group of 11th graders, how would you explain that to them?
Basically, what I
They're
would
saying,
say.
Miss Morningstar, what is that? Well, what would you say to them?
I would say I'm teaching you a model of self-care. I'm letting you know what you can do to be a health detective on your own to basically not need a practitioner anymore because you are that in tune with your system.
Mhm.
With the lab tests up front, that allows you to feel validated and start to connect your tests with yourself. We're never treating the test paper as just a paper. We're treating you, and I wouldn't even say we're treating you. We're supporting you in knowing, hey, this is connected here. This is clinically correlated. And as you start to build and rebuild that connection to yourself, you start to make those connections on your own. Now, I would always support maybe running labs once a year because it's just a fine tooth comb of, oh, okay, do I have a symptom here? Because sometimes test results come up and you don't really have a symptom to be correlated with that. So maybe you don't even need to dive deeper into it. But to have some actual numbers and data to support yourself as you're on this journey of being more connected with self, because we know our environment very much tries to disconnect us, and we've probably been disconnected for a very large portion of our life. So it's just that slow and gentle reconnection process.
So, Fallon, I can only imagine when you're working with a client, the things you have to do with them before you even show them how to connect for health reasons from within. And I heard you mention meditation. I'm not sure what other modalities you're using to help the customer understand how to feel from within. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Yeah, it is such it's a journey. You know? And I would say, to be honest, it's those baby steps into knowing more about your nervous system. In the mornings when you wake up, how does your brain function? What are your thoughts running on a program? Because we always think the same thoughts every single day, and it's very challenging to get out of that dynamic. But with these healing protocols of knowing what to eat, knowing what the best sleep regimen is for you, exercise wise, and what we can do as far as stress reduction, that can be a whole nother conversation. But meditation is also part of that stress reduction. So if we can incorporate 5 minutes a day of meditation and feel that shift in our nervous system, then it's kind of like we're running on a newer program. It's those baby steps. Maybe we push it to 10 minutes and then to 15 minutes. Maybe
I
we
like
try it sitting. Maybe we try it in our bed, lying down, and really being curious of, okay, I really want to change here. And I'm going to do what I can to make that happen. And it's just about that overcoming process. So, again, to be honest, I have gone through all of these tests. I've learned meditation and how that works for me, and I'm still, continuously learning, but I've found that the most pivotal thing that I've experienced is that mindset, that meditation, stepping away from the emotion or the sickness that you think you're encapsulated in. Like, I have hypothyroidism, let's say, and we ingrain that in our mind like this is my new label. And so it's who I am, but it's certainly not. And so meditation and nervous system regulation can give us the ability to create some space from that label. And when we do that, we can look at it as that's not me. It doesn't have to be me. And that's training over and over again. So I would say I am just a guide, as we all are, and it's about that consistency. It's about how much do you want to change? What do you want to feel like every day? Because that'll be your future.
The most riveting thing I heard you say was, "What do you want?" And we don't really understand that whatever we want, we can have. And it may seem as if things are tough, or I have to pay this bill, but no, people, listen to me. Whatever you want, you really can have. And Fallon, I had to tell you something about meditation. I'm a transcendental meditator, TM. Meditation is the key to all modalities. Um, unless you're using another type of modality that moves you to the center, the depth of transcendence, where you can have experienced nothing but thought. When you meditate at that level and you start to get down to 15 and 16 minutes and 18 minutes, and it's just peace, and you're able to sustain that, not purposely, but all the thoughts have already left, and you let them just be, and they've already left, and now it's just you and just thought. Now, when you're at that level, that really, really allows you to know what it feels like to connect with your body. And I manifest at that level. I teach my clients when I'm coaching them how to reach that level and how to manifest right there and watch these things happen, in record time. So the fact that meditation is a part of your program And I knew it was something that you were using or you were teaching your clients to do so that they can recognize from within. And another thing, Fallon, I want to talk to you about. I'm a scientific and an associate remote viewer as well. And I am looking to get into medical remote viewing. Now, the gentleman David Wallace, um, my coach, my associate remote viewing coach. He does medical remote viewing, and he actually does sessions to where he can actually see inside of the body. Um, it's amazing stuff out there. I mentioned that just to say it is some amazing stuff out there. You teach a different type of technique to view the body and to heal the body. And here another guy's teaching remote viewing to peer into the body. And I know for a fact that in astral projection, I have not done this, but I've had people that I've studied with that have left their body, gone to the astral plane, got with their spirit guides, and actually looked at their body and saw all these red marks on different parts of their body that were trouble areas in the body, and actually healed it while they were um, engaged in an out of body experience.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean?
Wow, that would be
I've had
beautiful.
conversations you wouldn't believe with people, and I've had experiences with colleagues who are just telling me, "Hey, this happened to me." I'm pretty sure you and I, after this episode, will down the line 2-3 months. Alan, talk to me. What's new? Guess what happened to me, Jason? So you hear a lot of different things that the modalities can help heal the way they can be infused into our work life, the way they can be infused into our health, our mind, body, and health. I'm just excited that you, as another professional, um, are out there. I mean, just really, really, just making a difference in people's lives.
Thank you for that, and I feel like we all need to have, like, that courage within ourself to be able to change,
Hmm.
because in this body, it's only one time, and it might be 80 years and 90 years. It might we don't know, and I don't know, it's kinda like, don't sit on the sidelines and just, get watch TV, It's like, we can do better than that, we can collectively do better than that, so,
Yeah.
as us being those guides and having that courage to learn more and then to help the next person and, as coaches that we have, same concept, it's like we are all trying to rise together as we are healing,
Yeah.
and that's just so profound, and even just having this conversation with you, it's kinda like, yes, like, we're doing great work here.
Yes. But I have a curveball I'm gonna throw you, and we finna get deep off into the weeds.
Alright.
So, um, why are and I'm gonna go deep. Why are epigenetics more important than your regular genetics? And I understand epigenetic transfer, and I
Mm.
understand how to break the epigenetic cycle. But why, Fallon, are epigenetics that much more important than your regular genetics?
Right, love the question, and I would say epigenetics are those lifestyle things. Even
Mm,
if we can think a certain thought, we are influencing our epigenetics, which is influencing our genetics. So, for example, if our parents or say mom has diabetes or maybe she does have a thyroid condition, we could have a higher tendency to get that same diagnosis or maybe a different diagnosis of autoimmunity, let's say. But if we are eating an appropriate diet, resting the right way, exercising, and we're not our mind isn't saying, "Mom has this, I'm gonna have this." If our mind is actually like, "No, I'm gonna do this because that doesn't have to be my reality. That doesn't have to be me 5 years, 10 years down the road." And when we incorporate this holistic lifestyle, we're influencing the epigenetics, which then influences the genetics. So it's kind of don't make that an excuse for your life. You get to decide.
Hmm. That's incredible. And the whole topic on epigenetic transfer, and there's another side to that. In addition to what you said, even eating meat, slaughtered animals, those genes are transferred. Um, Slavery, the thought of that those years of pain and abuse and trauma is epigenetic transfer down generation and generation. You have to break that cycle. So a lot of scientists have found that epigenetics are strong. I mean, yeah, genetics are what they are, but epigenetics are strong, and that's why I wanted to really ask you that question. But I was wondering, we hadn't had a chance for you to talk to the audience, and how can people work with you? How can people get in contact with you?
They can certainly reach out to me on Instagram. It is
Mhm.
at Falyn Hunter Morningstar, or just a simple email. That would be a discover@falynmorningstar.com. So either one of those avenues, I would be honored to have a conversation together.
Okay. Okay. Great. 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 So, what would you say to women who are listening that may be struggling right now with what we've been talking about, fatigue? What is one things you would suggest to them?
Honestly, the first thing I would suggest is to incorporate what's called the adrenal cocktail.
Mm, okay.
That is something that it does have a couple different recipes out there. The one that I really enjoy using is organic oranges, cream of tartar, real salt, and additional, it's a whole food vitamin C in a powder form. And that concoction is called the adrenal cocktail. So if you would just Google that, I'm sure it'll come up for you. And if you incorporate that between once at 10 a.m. and another time at 2 p.m., you will absolutely see and feel more energy
Mm,
because it's supporting our adrenals, which we know that if we're feeling fatigued, more than likely those adrenals are burnt out. They are continuously pumping the norepinephrine and adrenaline for us, which they can't do that forever. And that's in large part can be why we feel tired. So if we give the minerals to them, and it'll help our thyroid out as well. So I would honestly recommend just the adrenal cocktail is a great place to start.
mm. So we're running up on our time, but I want you to talk about any upcoming events, any last words to the audience, tips, words of advice, any free offers that you may have. Tell us what you have coming up next, Fallon. Anything that you got going on?
I host bi-weekly live meditations,
Okay.
and the next one is actually on the 26th, April
Okay.
26th. That is at 7 o'clock p.m. EST, and it goes until 7:30. So every 2 weeks, it's always the second and the fourth Wednesday of the month. Those are held live on Zoom and completely free. The recording is uploaded to my YouTube channel, but such a beautiful experience to be
Mm,
able to be in that community, to feel more connected with yourself, and to also be educated because I do tie in some somatic tools, some nervous system regulation tools on top of the sound that is used in the background is called Listening to Smile. Such a beautiful and powerful company that actually creates new albums each month in accordance to what the planets are doing.
mm.
So
Wow.
we really try to enhance that energy. The words that I tie in is to really also enhance and bring that to life of anything that you're working on and want to heal.
All right. Well, again, Falyn Morningstar, a beautiful spirit, a beautiful young lady who um, is trying to help and is helping Women change their lives through understanding functional diagnostic nutrition. It's a transformative modality, and um, look her up, give her a call, and maybe she can help you. So I'm gonna move you to the back office, Fallon. Stay there, and let me close this out. But I'll be right back. Okay. What a peaceful spirit. And I like talking to people who are very, very into what they're doing and really, really have a good feel for how the modalities should be used to assist you. Anyone who can heal themselves from sexual trauma, emotional shutdown, thyroid issues, this would be someone that you would want to call, someone that you want to talk to if you were experiencing anything like that. Um, there are a lot of different modalities that address these issues, and Fallon has, um, you know, used functional diagnostic nutrition as her tool of choice, and I'm sure she's very well versed in other modalities as well. But we just want to make sure the information is out there for everybody. I want to thank you for spending the time to listen to us here at Expansion of Consciousness. We're live on YouTube at Expansion of Consciousness, but make sure you press like and also press subscribe because that really helps us out. We're glad to bring this type of content to you, and we were doing it 3 days a week now. We were for the last 2 years we were once a week, then we went to once every 2 weeks, and then we heard it. You guys need to start putting out more stuff. So now we're 3 days a week, and we really hope that we are bringing you the kind of content that you're striving for, and that you deserve. Thank you for supporting us, and good night.